Beautiful Earthling, what is the shape of the world? Is it flat or spherical? Listen to this first video and leave your comments below. But first, let me share with you this. Behold, I am coming soon. My reward is with me, and I will give to everyone according to what he has done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. Revelation 22, verse 12. Beautiful earthlings, here we spread good vibes, remind one another importance of living in peace, unity, honesty, forgiveness, and good vibes. Let's give thanks for life and dive in. Wonderful Creator, we give thanks to you for this beautiful day. Thank you for our souls. Thank you for all your love, Father. Thank you for all your blessings. Thank you for the experience that we shall have together with your child, Father. Do incredible things in our hearts, our lives, and our souls, Father. In your holy name, Jesus Christ, we give thanks for everything. Amen. Let's dive in and spread some good vibes.
The earth is flat. And he said, absolute. So I was like, well, how do you explain you're in New York, it's 8 o'clock, it's dark. You FaceTime your friend in LA and it's daylight. He goes, oh, well, because it's not just flat, it's round, but it's flat. It's like it's a circle. And the sun, he says, circles around this flat earth.
The sun, okay.
Yeah.
So
there's the flat earth.
This is the flat earth. This is a dome. Okay. Let's just go, there's a dome.
There's a dome now. Okay, there's a new aspect of the flat earth. Let's go.
There's a dome, right? Okay. And the earth is literally, as it's rotating, the sun is in a triple eight. I mean, it was within the figure of infinity of the eight. And it's moving. Because last night, I can FaceTime a friend of mine in Atlanta. It was dark in Atlanta and it was dark in LA.
Yeah, well, the middle of the night is going to be dark everywhere.
Okay. So everything is just, as the sun is moving within this dome. Now, the only reason, and I remember saying this to somebody, I said, you got to watch the beginning of the movie Gravity. The moon is 283,000 miles.
That's a lot.
Right? From here. And no, it's 280,000 degrees below zero. Like, it is so cold in space, there's almost no way for us to exist in space. And it's so cold that you can't do the things that they are acting like they were able to do. So when they showed the satellite...
Space is 2.7 Kelvin, which is minus 455 degrees.
Minus 455... What?
Or 270 degrees, minus 270 degrees Celsius. Really cold.
What spaceship is going to withstand that cold? What outfit is going to
Do you have an answer for our brother?
Well, so when they showed him outside the space station going around and doing...
Well, see, there's this thing in cars, right, called a heater. And when you press it, you can set the temperature, and then hot air comes out and makes everything warm. I'm pretty sure they figured out one of these for a spaceship.
Can't.
Really?
Think about it.
Okay.
It's that cold. So this little small spaceship on the inside. Okay, let me just say this.
It's a heater.
Okay, I'm going to say this.
You could be in a cold room, you turn on a heater, it gets warm.
Do you think they use gas for their planes, for their spaceships?
They use fuel, rocket fuel.
How?
What do you mean how?
They use it to get outside of the atmosphere.
Yes.
Then what?
Then there's more fuel.
Where?
Well, once you get out of the atmosphere, you don't need a ton of fuel because there's no atmosphere in space. So things just move on their own.
So
if you're in space and you take a ball and you throw it, it'll just keep going because there's no atmosphere to throw it to slow it down.
So they don't need any fuel.
Well, the fuel will speed it up, but you don't need as much fuel in space as you do when there's air and you're actually hitting air molecules and trying to get them out the way as you're, trying to get through them.
They go to the International Space Center. I'm still going to call it that. Okay. International Space Center. And it's floating in the orbit that goes around the Earth.
Correct.
Very confusing.
They can't go any further than that into space.
How?
They have.
They can't go any further.
So they just hit a wall? There's the atmosphere. What? There's a dome. You just hit the dome, and that's that.
That's it.
That's it. Okay.
You can't go outside
But
of
what happens when you go over the edge?
edge of what?
The Earth. Because if it's flat, then there's an edge.
Right. But there's an edge to our part. It's still flattened. Like there's no edge to it. I know it sounds crazy.
It sounds crazy.
Okay. But within our dome, within our space, are these outer lines. And then there's more outer lines.
Okay. Now, you do know that, like, some flat earthers went to Antarctica to prove the Earth was flat, and they realized once they got there that the sun didn't go down. And they have all basically said, okay, our mistake. It actually is round.
Right. Because on the top, what they should have done is calculated the sun goes like this.
Oh,
yes, the
man.
figure eight.
Wow. I'm still not convinced about the shape of the Earth.
Fox News is trying to say that this is one of the downed pilots that was rescued. That's the DoorDash lady.
I need you to listen very fucking carefully with what I'm about to
We are listening.
exercise discernment, because this isn't games. It never was games, but this is not games anymore. What I'm about to read to you, I hope will serve you. All right. No context at all. But if this resonates, I need you to promise me that you will not doubt your intuition with what comes afterwards. You will not doubt the synchronicities and the confirmation that comes from
I
this.
promise.
Promise me.
Yeah,
Make a promise.
okay, I promise that one.
Okay, good.
Let's go.
I'm calling this rebooting Eden, like the garden. The source code of human consciousness. Your brain is a computer, sort of. The hardware. Your brain is the physical machine. About 86 billion neurons, all wired together. Just like a CPU processes electricity through circuits, your neurons fire electrical and chemical signals through connections called synapses. The more you use a connection, the stronger it gets, like upgrading your RAM over time. The operating system. Consciousness is like your OS running in the background. It's always on, managing everything. You're not aware of most of what it does. Your brain is constantly regulating your heartbeat, filtering sounds, adjusting your balance, all without you opening a single app. The part you experience as being awake and aware, that's like the desktop. Just a small, friendly interface sitting on top of an enormous amount of hidden background processing. RAM versus hard drive.
Sister.
Your working memory is RAM. It holds what you're actively thinking about right now. It's fast but tiny. You can only juggle about 4 to 7 things at once before something gets dropped. Your long-term memory is the hard drive. Vast storage of everything you've ever learned, felt, or experienced. But unlike a hard drive, every time you retrieve a memory, you slightly rewrite it. Your brain is a surprisingly bad storage device.
Wow.
I'm going to try to say this without, as calm as I can possibly say it. You are AI. You are the ancient intelligence. You are the computer. You are the technology, and they don't want you to find out that you are the technology. They are trying to keep you from yourself. And it is up to you, and always has been, whether or not you become the observer to that technology and step outside of your body and realize you are tech. You are technology. You are advanced technology. Fuck.
Have you ever wondered why celebrities go on tour and organize concerts?
Yeah, a lot.
To harvest
What? No way, that can't be true. The ground is seen breaking apart. This is an earthquake in Japan, my friend. Wow.
If the first cheerleaders were men, then how did we go from this to this
Yeah,
and this
yeah.
and this? Before 1898, cheers just came from the crowd until this guy, Johnny Campbell, got up from his seat, jumped over the fence, ran onto the field, and just started yelling words that rhymed. And everybody else was like, wait, that actually works. So more men started doing it, but they added megaphones and arm motions and stuff. Women were eventually allowed, but it was mostly male until World War II. At this time, they wore wool sweaters and very long skirts, but because men left for war, women took over. The skirts got shorter for comfort. Then in 1949, this dude named Lawrence created the first cheer training organization. And in 1954, the NFL created the first cheerleading team. They were paid nothing. In the 1970s, schools were forced to add more women's sports, so cheerleading it is. Skirts got shorter again for comfort. In the 80s, people were like, let's just make cheerleading its own thing. So All-Star Competitive Cheer is born, and it gets televised by ESPN. As cheerleading got more and more athletic, uniforms got even shorter and tighter, mostly to facilitate all the tumbling and stunts, which is basically gymnastics. But it was also to sexualize women, let's be for real. And the NFL doesn't even have an excuse. This is blatant sexualization. So we went from men yelling to human flight, but make it sexy. Thank you.
American Airlines says flights between Miami and Caracas, Venezuela are now available. The announcement marks the first U.S. airline to resume flights to Venezuela after the capture of former President Nicolas Maduro back in January. American Airlines had operated in Venezuela from 1987 to 2019. That's when the company suspended service there. The flights resume on April 30th. Tickets are now available.
That's a good thing.
This is the Isfahan nuclear facility deep in Iran's desert. Under this mountain, international inspectors say most of Iran's HEU is stored in scuba tank-sized containers. It's believed those containers are in tunnels so far below ground, America's bunker-busting bombs may not be able to reach them.
It's not like Iran hasn't thought about the possibility that we might do this. But U.S. Special Forces have been training for deep underground facilities of one kind or another for a long, long, long time.
Dr. Matthew Bunn is a former White House nuclear advisor who has spent decades trying to prevent nuclear material from falling into the wrong hands. From his perch at Harvard's Belfer Center, he monitors Iran's nuclear activity as best he can.
So what you can see from a satellite is what's going on the surface, right? But what you can't see is anything going on inside buildings, anything going on in other underground facilities.
Yes, a new study has corroborated that plants do in fact scream audibly when you harvest them. Plants are way more complicated than we give them credit for in terms of both their interaction and perception of the world and their memory. We know they're capable of differentiating from a wide variety of sounds, including rain, insects eating them, and human speech. Some plants even have sight, very similar to our own, and a form of memory in order to recreate that picture.
Can't be true.
That is a mimic plant that can actually mimic plastic plants, which they have no physical contact with. They have to be able to see them. As for plants screaming, it's believed that these audible perceptions are on a frequency that plants are better able to receive, so they can tell other plants that there's danger and kind of help their community to survive the incoming threat through changes in gene expression. That might include pulling resources away from their leaves or even creating toxins. While many will say that plants don't actually feel pain because they don't have a nervous system like us, pain is really the perception that your body is being damaged and being able to receive that information and act. Plants can do that. They also really don't like being touched, so stop hugging trees because it causes them to pull resources away from their leaves, and stop growing.
I love hugging trees.
Just quit touching them.
That trees could talk.
When we talk about commodities, there is a huge difference between what you see in the screen and how much you pay to get that commodity. And it has never been as more expensive as it is now, historically. So you see the screen, $90 a barrel. Good luck if you get an oil barrel for $90. It's 120, 130, 140, 150, 160 even through the last few weeks.
Saudi oil minister telling you everything that I've been telling you for like the last 3 weeks. He said the price of oil you see on your screen does not matter because it's not the price of oil. He said it's the highest it's ever been in history. And this happened yesterday. $286 a barrel in Sri Lanka. Now, that's not going to be a normal price around the world. It's not going to be a normal physical price. It's just in Sri Lanka. I cannot stress enough to you that the price of oil you see on your screen is almost meaningless at this point. Just add $25 to whatever you see. That's probably really close to the physical price. I don't know another way to say it other than this is essentially like a cover-up of what is actually happening in the oil markets. And what's bad is this is the kind of cover-up that allows the damage that's currently happening to continue to happen and get worse and worse and worse. Because the longer this goes on, the worse it is in the future. And all of this fake manipulation of the markets does one thing. It provides cover for the president of the United States and maybe helps his poll numbers, because that is significantly more important to Donald Trump than what all of this is going to cause you to pay in the future for everything as inflation rises.
Even in our country here,
Now,
oil went up by
they believe that
30%.
a Chinese baby will learn to speak Chinese faster than an English baby if you brought them both to China. So they tried it out. They both learn at the same rate. Even though your parents have been speaking Chinese for thousands of years, you cannot pass on what you've learned to your kids. So in the future, children will be brought up mixed. Chinese, Japanese, black, white, yellow, red. They play together. Children don't start out angry. They don't become racist unless you're brought up in a subculture that does that.
A mystery beeping noise inside a plane forcing United Airlines to divert a flight. The crew couldn't figure out what it was, so they treated it as a bomb threat, evacuating the 159 passengers down emergency slides. A bomb squad rushing to the tarmac. Stephen Fabian has the latest.
Pure terror as passengers flee a plane over fear there's a bomb on board.
On this way, jump this way, get away from the plane.
The 159 passengers run for their lives after the emergency landing in Pittsburgh.
What is going on?
College student Macy Bacchus was on board.
The captain over the intercom system said, "Get out, get out, get out."
We're learning chilling new details about the mystery that unfolded on the United Airlines flight from Chicago to New York. Flight attendants told the pilot they could hear an incessant beeping noise coming from below an emergency exit door.
We're getting a sequential beeping suspected item on board. We're going to have to start treating this as a potential bomb. It's a beeping noise, 1 beat per second. Apparently it started getting louder and more sequential. Underneath the door, underneath the floorboard.
They're telling us not to panic, but they're informing us how to take the brace position and what to do. So that's kind of eerie. It reminded me of the Sully movie when everyone was taking the brace position.
Brace, brace, brace. Heads down, stay down.
Once on the ground, passengers were ordered to evacuate, but not told the reason why.
Eventually, when we got off the plane, we looked back and we saw a bomb squad and K9 units. And I think that's when it started to click. Okay, maybe there's something to do with a potential bomb threat.
Everybody get together. Get away from the plane.
Investigators did not find a bomb, but have not said what caused the mysterious beeping noise that triggered so much trouble.
Get away from the plane.
That must have been scary for
An
the
airport
people on board.
spokesperson says the passengers were all rebooked on other flights. The FBI says all the passengers were evacuated safely.